Hello everyone, we are doing Rolf Dobelli's The Art of Thinking Clearly. Thank you for watching my series on biases and on voices. Voices you'll understand later in like a year. We're using this text to learn about the 99 biases that he chose to talk about here. It really is a great book. Okay, and just a couple pages for each one. Okay. This is the table of contents. All right. Chapter 50, Sweet Little Lies, Cognitive Dissonance. A fox crept up to a vine. He gazed longingly at the fat, purple, overripe grape. He placed his front paws against the trunk of the vine, stretched his neck, and tried to get at the fruit, but it was too high. Irritated, he tried his luck again. He launched himself upward, but his jaw snapped only at fresh air. A third time he leapt with all his might, so powerfully that he landed back on the ground with a thud. Still not a single leaf had stirred. The fox turned up his nose. "These aren't even ripe yet. Why would I want sour grapes?" Holding his head high, he strode back into the forest. The Greek poet Aesop created this fable to illustrate one of the most common errors in reasoning. An inconsistency arose when the fox set out to do something and failed to accomplish it. He can resolve this conflict in one of three ways. 1. By somehow getting at the grapes. 2. By admitting that his skills are insufficient. Or 3. By reinterpreting what happened retrospectively. The last option is an example of cognitive dissonance, or rather, its resolution. Suppose you buy a new car. However, you regret your choice soon afterward. The engine sounds like a jet taking off, and you just can't get comfortable in the driver's seat. What do? Giving the car back would be an admission of error. You don't want that. And anyway, the dealer probably wouldn't refund all the money. So you tell yourself the loud engine and awkward seats are great safety features that will prevent you from falling asleep at the wheel. Not so stupid after all, you think, and you are suddenly proud of your sound, practical purchase. Leon Festinger and James M. Carl Smith of Stanford University once asked their students to carry out an hour of excruciatingly boring tasks. They then divided the subjects into two groups. Each student in Group A received $1. It was 1959. And instructions to wax lyrical about the work to another student waiting outside. In other words, to lie. The same was asked of the students in Group B with one difference. They were given $20 for the task. Later, the students had to divulge how they really found the monotonous work. Interestingly, those who received only $1 rated it as significantly more enjoyable and interesting. Why? One measly $1 was not enough for them to lie outright. Instead, they convinced themselves that the work was not that bad. Just as Aesop's fox reinterpreted the situation, so did they. The students who received more didn't have to justify anything. They had lied and netted $20 for it, a fair deal. They experienced no cognitive dissonance. Suppose you apply for a job and discover you have lost out to another candidate. Instead of admitting that the other person was better suited, you convince yourself that you didn't want the job in the first place. You simply wanted to test your market value and see if you could get invited for interview. I reacted very similarly some time ago when I had to choose between investing in two different stocks. My chosen stock lost much of its value shortly after the purchase, whereas shares in the other stock, the one I hadn't invested in, skyrocketed. I couldn't bring myself to admit my error. Quite the reverse, in fact. I distinctly remember trying to convince a friend that though the stock was experiencing teething problems, it still had more potential overall. Only cognitive dissonance can explain this remarkably irrational reaction. The potential would indeed have been greater if I had postponed the decision to purchase the shares until today. It was that friend who told me the Aesop fable. You can play the clever
fox all you want, but you'll never get the grapes that way.
That was a good reading.
Yeah, you don't want to try to get
No, Neil, the tree, Neil. No, Neil, stop the tree. Get it. No, Neil. Start.
You can play the clever fox all you want, but you'll never get the grapes that way. You can play the... Yeah.
So what we can call this voice, well, we'll just call it the cog-dis voice. So it's a voice whose job is, anytime you're in a situation where you're forced to accept two uncomfortable realities, or at least one of the realities is uncomfortable. So in the case of the fox, it was, I need to accept that I want these grapes and that I'm not competent enough to get them. One of those realities is uncomfortable, which is and maybe we shouldn't use the word uncomfortable. We should just say it's a reality that triggers a denial of that reality. Okay? I don't want to say that it was uncomfortable along the way, because that assumes a certain ego humanity, and not ego in the sense that you may be thinking, but that assumes a certain self that I don't really think exists. So what happened is there is programming in the brain that said, hey, look, if your programming has led you to the idea that you are inadequate or incompetent, that's going to trigger this other programming, which is going to try to deny that. Okay? So for instance, I'm looking at the grape. I've gone for the grape, I failed to get the grape. I want to get the grape, I have failed to get the grape. Okay? I see that, right? So my programming is able to come to these conclusions. My programming is what notices the desire, what even creates the desire. So basically it goes, grape, I have programming that makes it such that I want this thing. So grape triggers desire. Desire, in this case, then triggers action, or maybe exists simultaneously as action is also triggered, right? It might not even be that desire actually triggers the action. It might be grape triggers two pathways. One, desire. Two, going after it. And then, of course, if you fail to go after it, or if you don't get up out of bed or whatever, if you don't go over to it, then that desire can also trigger the action. But I don't know whether the grape itself triggers the action or whether the grape triggers the desire, which then triggers the action. I don't know exactly how our programming works. But anyway, so the grape triggers desire, and it also triggers the action. The action results in a failure, which triggers the recognition of a failure. So now I've got two activities in my mind. I've got the desire for this grape, and I've also got the recognition of my failure to obtain it. The recognition of failure triggers the resolution of cognitive dissonance voice. And so we go, okay, it takes it to that voice, that element in the brain, and that element in the brain goes, hold on, so we want this thing, and we found that we're unable to get it. Okay, it is unacceptable that we are incompetent. So how do we become okay with our incompetence or even deny it altogether? Well, we say, actually, we don't want the grape. And so it sends out that signal. It cancels the desire signal. It replaces the desire signal with, those aren't even ripe. Those are going to be sour anyway. And now I've got sour grapes that I'm unable to get. Hey, that's not a big deal. I don't mind being unable to get that. And now we've got a sort of a mental or emotional homeostasis. Or no, just a state that's okay. In the case of the... Hope that made sense. In the case of the work, the brain goes, hold on, so I did this, so I earned $1, and I did this really boring task. That That's no good for me. I did a really boring task for a measly $1. So the resolution of cognitive dissonance office in the brain goes, nah. And so its program is triggered. I need to resolve this. So either I earned more than $1 or the work wasn't so bad after all. Because it would be a much more comfortable state if we can say that we did something we enjoyed for $1. And so that's what happens. We when we are asked to tell the truth. So first we are asked to lie. We are asked to lie to the other subjects. Easy. Because now we are asked to do it. The Office of Cognitive Dissonance Resolution told us to do it. The cogdis voice, or the cogdis res voice, was saying, hey, we got to deny one of these things because both of these things, we don't like that coexisting. So we had to lie, and we wanted to lie anyway. And then once we had to lie and we wanted to lie, we were like, hey, that was great. Well, this isn't actually what happens in the brain, but I'm sort of anthropomorphizing humans, which sounds like a funny, I don't even think that's the right word. That's how you say the word, but it sounds like a funny thing to do because like humans are anthropomorphic. But no, I don't think that we really are mentally. I think it's all really just automatic shit, and now I'm adding intention to help make it easier to understand. Anyway, so then for the $20, I might have left my thought back there. Anyway, for the $20, now I'm asked to lie. But honestly, I don't really need to lie. I got $20 for doing something really basic and boring. Excruciatingly boring. Forget basic. For doing something excruciatingly boring, that's fair enough. No need to deny either of those. So when I'm asked to tell the truth to the researchers, I tell them, oh yeah, that sucked. Whereas the $1 person was further encouraged by being asked to lie, and then when asked to tell the truth, he stuck with that lie because, yeah, it resolves the cognitive dissonance. Hopefully that makes sense. And then maybe we won't have any discussion about it. But yeah, so just keep your mind out for that. I know people all the time who do that as far as like job, whatever goes. I've done that with women. If I didn't... Is that even true, though? I'm trying to find where I do make these mistakes, and I know that I make these mistakes, but... I mean, I've never been someone who, like, said, oh, she's probably gay, or who actually... By the way, when that guy, he says, oh, she's a bitch, or she's probably gay, or whatever, he actually believes that. You may think he's just being a jerk, but no, he actually... That's what happened. That's his proper resolution of the cognitive dissonance. His brain goes, I want her. I have failed to have her. So either I need to deny one of these things, or I need to be okay with these things. So how do I be okay with having failed to get her? Oh, well, yeah, actually, I can just deny continuing to want her. I can say, oh, she's gay. So it's not really that I failed to get her in the sense that I'm not good enough. It's just that I don't have a vagina. I'm sure I've done that, not when I was like really interested in pursuing women, but since then I've seen just like a woman that I know that I've been programmed to see as sexy, and not by my genes, but really by 21st century culture. And I feel this desire, and I know I could not get her. She wants okay, I don't want to insult, I'm not trying to insult any sort of particular group of women. So let's just say that's part of my resolution to cognitive dissonance. I'll tell myself, oh no, but she's shallow. She just wants a guy who makes a bunch of money. She's not looking for a philosopher who lives in the woods. And also, I wouldn't want her. We wouldn't have any interesting conversations, blah, 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 blah. And then part of me like, oh, God. And I actually do this on Instagram. I do this on Instagram. So, like, Instagram, it just keeps trying to show you beautiful, according to our current definition, these skinny, fashionable, made-up women. And I'll, like, watch a video, like, 4 times before clicking, I'm not interested in this shit. Stop showing me this shit. And that actually might be a resolution of cognitive dissonance. It might not be that I'm so upset that that I'm not getting enough good content, that I'm just like looking at women like do dance moves or whatever. It might be that as I'm watching this, I feel a certain frustration that if I talked to that woman, I would not be able to get her. And so I have to remind myself, no, that's a stupid, superficial, whatever bullshit. And I wouldn't be happy with her anyway. This straight-haired, perfectly made up, big butt woman, But there is a part of me that does want her. And I mean, I'm glad that I talk myself out of it, that I say no, because to be honest with you, I don't expect. I mean, the woman that I'm with now is incredible, and is not the type of woman who's gonna, make herself up a whole bunch. And that is my style. But there is a part of me that, of course, is attracted to that Instagram model, obviously. And also, no way that I could ever get that woman. It's also true that I wouldn't particularly enjoy being with her, but it would be validating to just be able to get her out on a date or something. And I would not be able to do that. She would not be interested in me. And so to resolve that cognitive dissonance, I say, oh, but she's dumb and whatever. I don't know this woman. She may be making, thousands and thousands of dollars a month. She may be, making really good money. Much better than even just thousands of dollars a month. She may have been able to go into the sciences and the STEM and just was like, wait, I can easily make this money. So she might be quite brilliant. But I talk myself out of it because I would not be able to deal with the reality of, holy shit, she's this sort of appeasing physically as I've been programmed by society. And also she's like a philosophical genius when she wants to be. And I would not stand a chance. Actually, she's a philosophical genius. I would stand a chance. But anyway, the brain isn't reasonable. And so I just tell myself, ugh. Does that make sense? Great. All right, so I'm using my shitty MacBook Pro camera because my phone is busy. It's processing the videos, so I can't use my phone to film. Anyway, iPhone 13 Pro Max is pretty good. Anyway, so I just did it, though. In the video that you just watched, I just did it. But first I want to say, now I cut back to the thing about the phone, I think. There I go. Why am I talking like the only women I can't get are Instagram models? And here I just heard a voice go, not literally heard, but there was an instinct to say, well, I probably could get some. But anyway, and here I go. I keep doing it. So by talking about acting like they're only Instagram models are the ones that I can't get. There are lots of women that I would want. I mean, I'm very happy right now. So and that's what I was going to say. I have found the woman that I'm supposed to be with and that I am very happy with. So I'll say in the past, there were lots of women that I wanted. Not lots. Oh my gosh. I can't. It is so hard for me to just say there are women that I wanted. I want to say that I thought would be a match for me. There are women that I wanted, and I was not able to get them. I was not good enough for their criteria. I was not good enough. It's such a hard thing now to say because I'm feeling good today. And also because I want to be very careful what I say because I don't want to upset the woman that I am very happy with and that I want to spend a very long time with. So that's another element that's making it difficult. But I'm trying to now not resolve the cognitive dissonance. Not even, and to sort of even reject the cognitive dissonance. There are two ideas here. Blank woman was a woman that I wanted, let's say. And I was not good enough. And I want to leave it at that. and I'm fighting it. Inside, I can feel myself fighting it, and not just to protect the feelings of my girlfriend. I can feel myself, and that's because often I don't feel this good. And often it's, oh yeah, you're real shitty and blah, blah, you're, whatever. And you're just not good enough and whatever. But the truth is, that in... Anyway, that's cognitive dissonance. And our instinct to resolve it, even if it means lying to ourselves and lying about the reality around us. And we don't do it intentionally. We truly believe in a certain reality that better corresponds with the reality that we want. The reality of what I want. Both, but and what I mean here is the reality of what I want. The reality of what I might have wanted in the past was a certain woman. At any given time, I'm not thinking about anyone in particular. I mean, a couple examples just came to mind. And the reality is that I did not interest them. That I did not impress them. That I was not impressive enough for them. That I was not good enough in their eyes. I don't like that reality. I mean, just our programming, I won't say that I don't like it in general. I don't mind it, mostly, but there's certainly an instinct in my mind to reject that and to replace that reality with, or to change that desire, right? Because that's the reality of what we want. So we change the reality of what we want. We say, oh, we didn't actually want that. And then we truly believe it and we'll justify it, just like the author of the book was talking about with the stock thing. He continued to try to justify that it was a good decision, that it was what he wanted, and that he correctly did it, because he didn't want to accept that he did not correctly do it. So he continues to justify that he correctly did it, and I want to justify that I am actually good enough if they knew me better, if they understood, whatever. And like a lot of guys on Reddit will say, if they weren't, just dumb bitches who only like bad boys and don't know what's good for them, whatever. And that's them, of course, resolving their cognitive dissonance. And so I'm trying to fight that. And what does that mean? I'm trying to install new rules that have a different reaction. So when I can observe the reality of what I want, that I don't try to create a reality that corresponds to that, but that I instead say, okay, well, the rejection of that reality of what I want, the fact that I didn't get that person, the fact that his stock fell through, what might that mean? That might mean that he made a bad decision. That might mean that I wasn't good enough. I'm going to have an impulse to think that that's not the case. He had an impulse to think that wasn't the case. And of course, that impulse became behavior. Trying to install a new impulse to inhibit that impulse from becoming behavior. An impulse that says, hey, look, you have to look at evidence. You have no evidence that this woman was somehow mistaken, and you have no evidence that you didn't want it. You did want it. Look at how you were talking about her, thinking about her, writing about her when you thought that you had a chance. That's what the evidence says. So I need to fight. So I need to install this impulse to value the possibility that I wasn't good enough, and the value of evidence to then look for evidence and what it corresponds to. Does it correspond to the reality that I don't actually want her, or does it correspond to the reality that I did? Okay? So, of course, in some situations, it was both true that actually maybe I didn't want her, that I was just attracted by this one particular thing, that overall I wouldn't have been happy with her. And so I can resolve that kind of dissonance, but it actually matches reality. But lots of times, the evidence indicates that the reality of what I wanted is her, and the reality of what happened was that I was not good enough. And say, well, what does the evidence indicate? My programming, again, I repeat, is going to tell me, is going to change one of those things. It's going to change my interpretation of one of those realities. Change my interpretation of the reality of what I wanted, or change the interpretation of the reality of what I am or what I could offer her, in order to feel good. in order to not have to focus energy on that, in order to dismiss that problem, right? Because the brain can only need, if the woman rejects you and you're ready to, and you need to move on, because so your brain can work on other things. Well, your brain says, okay, well, so since problems cause reflection, we need to make sure this isn't a problem. So how do we do that? Okay, well, we need to say, oh, you know what? You are good enough. She was dumb. So she rejected you, yes. You wanted her, yes. But the you're not good enough part, not true. You are good enough. She just, or it changes. You actually didn't even want her. Something so that everything works together. So that it's not something that provokes further thought. So we can use our mental energies for other things. Boom, nailed it. I really think I nailed it. In here, I nailed it. I at least have the impression that I nailed it. I also think that any ideas that I didn't say out loud that I had here would fill any holes that you might have. So ask me your questions and I will respond. Or maybe I'll find that the illusion of understanding. Thanks for sticking around for this whole thing.